Well, going trick-or-treating tomorrow will be the highlight of Halloween for most kids, but children with autism might experience things that are a little overwhelming. So board-certified behavioral analyst Melissa Almanza is with me this morning to talk about ways we can make sure all kids enjoy trick-or-treating this morning. And we were just talking, it kind of begins with the costume.
It does. A lot of our kids have sensitivities or have a little bit of sensory issues, so trying to recognize what their preferences are. So a lot of our kids, if you know that they don't like hoods or masks, then trying to stay away from that. Some of them don't like scratchy material, so synthetic costumes tend to be a little bit more uncomfortable. So it's really just knowing your child and knowing what they're willing to tolerate and trying to build around those tolerances instead of adding a lot of extra on if they're not into that kind of thing.
And as you're going out for the event to trick or treat tomorrow night, what are some things you know that parents should be aware of?
Yeah, I think being prepared and practicing ahead of time is always helpful. Our kids do well with repetition. So we do a lot of practicing with the knocking and practicing saying trick or treat and thank you, different things like that. So if a child's verbal, just giving them those extra opportunities to practice so that they're ready for it. And if not, you can always work with sign and kind of be their voice for them, or even having them hand over a little card that says trick or treat, things like that. So in general, practice makes perfect and repetition helps.
All right, so for the folks at home who want to make sure that all children are accommodated this holiday season, what can we do at home?
I think just being patient. Some of our kids might be showing some behaviors because they do typically have a difficult time with change, and there's a lot of change that's involved with Halloween. So being a little bit patient in terms of if they're showing some behaviors, allowing parents the time to handle that. Also, some of our kids do have food allergies or sensitivities, so it's always cute and helpful to maybe have some non-edible treats like stickers or pencils or spider rings, things like that.
And the weather, you know, might not be optimal tomorrow, so as you're heading out, it's overwhelming for all children. It might be cold. What are some alternatives to actually going door to door?
Yeah, I think trunk or treats are very popular lately, and I think that's more of a structured activity that might do well for our kids because it's not an unending thing. They kind of can see how many more trunks that they have to go to. And then, or maybe just going to different family members' houses. So it's a little bit less of a long duration of time, but they still get the experience. And some kids might just prefer to dress up and be the person that hands out the candy. And I think having that flexibility, we had a party yesterday at our clinic, and it was lots of fun, but one of our little boys actually disliked it because it was change and different, and so he did a nice job of using his words to say, work please, work please. We wanted it to be fun, but for him, he actually would prefer to stay in his routine of work, play, work, play. So I think understanding that even though we want it to be a fun activity, sometimes we have to adjust those expectations and maybe just make them the candy passer outer or just take them to grandma's house, different things like that.
Melissa, thank you so much. All really good tips for parents and for people who are handing out candy as well. Now after the break, we will unveil Alicia and Aaron's Halloween makeup and let you know how you can create some of those looks at home.